to when you score 83 points in the game and nobody cares. Let's get it.
Look at the best scoring nights throughout NBA history, and you will see a list of the greatest players to ever play the game. Jordan 69, Steph 62, Lillard 71, Luka's 73, Kobe Bryant's famous 81. It's the most coveted record book in all of basketball, a testament and historical evidence of the greatest nights in NBA history by some of the greatest players in NBA history. Which begs the question, what the hell is Bam Adebayo doing here with a mind-boggling modern NBA record of 83 points? Well, this, my friends, is the result of quite possibly the most egregious case of stat padding the NBA has ever seen. And despite scoring the second most points in a single game in the history of the NBA, Bam's 83-point night will go down as one of the most shocking and controversial games we may ever see.
Yeah, 83, bro. You can't hate. But yeah,
Today's
83,
video is
dog.
sponsored by Arena Club. The club deal show lined up 9 ever. Not if you're featuring the.
That's killing me.
On Tuesday night, in a game featuring the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat.
Look at that. Oh my, 16 and 47, bro. Damn.
1 minute and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Heat were up 146 to 119. By all conceivable measures, this game was a blowout. It's over. But with that being the case, why is Drew Smith attempting a full court heave while his team is up nearly 30 points on a piss poor Wizards team? Well, he's not. He's trying to get the ball to Bam Adebayo, who is being double teamed 50 feet away from the ball, because he has 79 points and absolutely no intention of subbing out of this game. At this point, the only way Bam is going to add to his historic total will be at the free throw line, because Washington is now guarding him with their entire roster. And what started as a normal basketball game has now become a full.
Bro, they did not want him to get 81, bro. They were trying their hardest. It was like, bro, it was triple to me, this nigga, bro.
Circus act.
Look at this, bro. Bro, they triple teaming this nigga. They not trying to let him get that record, bro. They not trying to let him pass Kobe. It was too late though. They started doubling him in like the fourth, bro.
But it didn't start this
triple
way.
teaming, I meant in the fourth.
In just the first quarter of this game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points.
Yeah,
The
he was
second
going crazy.
most points scored in the first quarter of a game in NBA history. By halftime, Bam had 43, already a career high, and the second most points scored in the first half of a game in NBA history. Going into the third, the Wizards still had no answer for Bam. His points still flooding in, both naturally in the flow of the game and ethically. By the end of the third, Bam had 62 points, which, you guessed it, is the second most points through 3 quarters in NBA history. Before the start of the fourth quarter, Bam's performance was 3 had 62 points, which, you guessed it, is the second most points through 3 quarters in NBA history. Before the start of the fourth quarter, Bam's performance was already being celebrated by his teammates and fans. He had broken LeBron's franchise scoring record of 61. He set a new career high, and the Heat were blowing the Wizards out by 20. And it is at this point where Bam and his coaching staff are.
Wait, he had 62 at that time? I thought he had like.
Stay in the game and build onto an already substantial lead. Leave the floor and sub out as the hero of the night, or stay in the game and potentially chase the league's scoring record. What decision should they make? Well, it just so happens that I covered this exact predicament in my last video, where I asked the question, is it possible to score 100 points in an NBA game? The final verdict? Yes, it is possible. The only problem? The circumstances required to have such a game are so unlikely that we will probably never see 100 points ever again. Unless a player is willing to infringe on the integrity of the game itself. There have been many games throughout the years that had record-breaking potential, but for a few reasons, most notably the game being a blowout and the potential record breaker respectfully sitting the final quarter, there have been very few instances where a player was able to genuinely chase the record without any negative consequences. How did Bam Adebayo drop the most points in modern NBA history on a random Tuesday night in March?
Great respect to let him. History of the NBA. Now 3. Bam. He gets fouled.
by choosing option C and infringing on the integrity of the game. In what could have been a celebrated, memorable, and ethical performance, Bam and the Heat decided to go a different route. With about 9 minutes left in this game, Bam had this
Exposure, bro. Blame him, bro. Kept him in the game.
incredible and
I think when he had 60 at the half, no, was that half? I don't know. 40 at the half. Bro, they was gonna go. Right. He had to go for that shit. He had to go for that shit.
one. A blow-by followed up with this great acrobatic finish at the rim through contact and an explosion
Yeah,
from
you're
the
supposed to
fans
do
in the
that.
arena. And after hitting the free throw, this would have been the ideal and historically
70.
acceptable moment for Bam to check out of this game. It was his 70th point of the night. Miami had the game all but wrapped up. And up to this point, all of his points were ethical, non-GMO, farm-raised buckets. But instead, Bam stayed in the game. And here is how he scored his final 13 points. Free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, miss three, layup, free throw, miss three, turnover, miss three, free throw, free
Damn.
throw, free throw, free throw, intentional miss free throw, attempting to manufacture more points, free throw, free throw. Bye-bye Kobe, hello Bam. In what is now being called the most unethical game of basketball the league
Bro, I'm telling you, when he got 70, bro, he knew he could get 80, bro. That's the thing. And he was bro. He was chasing that shit to get
has
80.
ever seen. The Miami Heat
It's
spent
crazy.
the final 7 minutes of this game executing every conceivable tactic to manufacture more points for Bam Adebayo. Chucking up unnecessary threes, intentionally fouling the Wizards to get possession, even going as far as intentionally missing a free throw to try to get the ball back to Bam. And as a result, they are quickly discovering why Kobe's modern scoring record stood for so long and why no one can seem to match it, despite a number of players getting
Somebody definitely can try to get it now. Since he did this first, somebody else is definitely going to score 80 points, bro. Bro, I'm
close.
telling you.
Because, wait, I actually
what?
already said this a week ago. Let me find the clip real quick. 100 points in a single game is possible, but the circumstances required to have such a game, to justify one player taking that many shots and doing so without infringing on the integrity of the game, is so narrow that we may never see it happen again. Ah, that's right. The fallout for unapologetically chasing out. Yeah. This is truly a
chased it.
definitive and timeless paradox of big performances. Historic nights like this have become less about can a player pull it off and more about do the circumstances require a player to pull it off, in which case the circumstances virtually never do. This performance from Bam is not only proof of that, but it is evidence of what we all have known to be the truth. There are many players around the league right now who could go for 80,
Yeah,
90, maybe even 100 points on the right night, if they set their mind to it, if them and their team game plan for it, if it is their sole focus for 48 minutes, if the Washington Wizards are on their schedule. But even attempting something like this would require a player to break the unwritten rules of basketball. And that clearly isn't worth the backlash of possibly pulling it off. It isn't worth it. So what were the fruits of Bam's labor? The second most points in a single game in NBA history, the most free throw attempts in a single game in NBA history, by
That nigga
far
Dwight
history,
had
the most
39.
free throw
Damn.
attempts in a single game in NBA history, by far the most free throws made in a game in NBA history, and the fifth most three-pointers attempted in a game.
Most 3-point.
Damn.
Damn.
Oh,
It's only 22. Damn.
and he also broke the record
Seems like
for
it's
the
a little
most
bit, though.
criticism received by a single player in one game. Now, if we ignore all context and what it took to get there, according to the game score metric, which takes all the good things a player does in the box score minus all the bad things and spits out a number that attempts to reflect the impact a player had on a game, Bam had statistically the 6th best game in NBA history, which is unfortunate that it will
That's crazy. You got Michael Jordan right there. Jesus Christ.
not
What
be
game was he playing at that time?
remembered as such. In my last video, I used this chart to display the greatest scoring nights in NBA history and the
Now,
pace
where's
these
Bam at
players
now?
were on to
Let me
reach
see.
their final totals. For example, here's Luka's 73, here's Booker's 70, Lillard's 71,
Wow, Mitchell.
here's Kobe's 81, and here is Bam's 83. Through 3 quarters, he was tied for the second most points all time, going into the fourth. In fact, that and
He
one
wasn't even
bucket
that
in the
close,
fourth
though.
quarter that I mentioned earlier is right here. All of his buckets leading up to this point were non-forced ethical buckets within the flow of the game. Bam Adebayo was playing out of his mind, better than anyone ever has in modern NBA history,
Wow.
even before all of these shameless scoring tactics were deployed. The stat padding that spurred all of this outrage took place
I'm telling you, when that nigga got 70, bro, when he got 70, he was like, yep, I'm getting 81. I don't care what nobody say, bro. I'm getting 81. Even a coach, bro, he was agreeing with him, bro. Like, come on now.
here in the final 9 minutes of the game. All of this is now invalid.
Oh, I didn't realize, bro, most of the points he had at the end were free throws. Like, all of them were free throws. That's crazy. I thought at least, like, come on. I thought, like,
Because
one
of
of them at
this.
least, like, a
A
layup.
week ago, I said the methods the Warriors used to get
Couple
Wilt to
layups,
100 were
free throws, wow.
outrageous and would never be used in the modern NBA. 7 days later,
That's crazy. And he said,
we're watching a center get triple team
what'd
90
he
used
say?
said the methods is now invalid because of this.
Oh,
A week
yeah.
ago, I said the methods the Warriors used to get Wilt to 100 were outrageous and would never be used in the modern NBA. 7
And it was
days
used.
later, we're watching a center get triple team 94 feet out while up 25 with no admissible reason for him still
That
being on the
nigga
court.
blind.
Get triple team 94 feet out while
Yeah,
up
what the
25 with no admissible
Dog,
reason
what the fuck
for him
is
still
this,
being on
bro?
the court. I now stand corrected. But I don't think these final minute tactics are worth discrediting this entire performance. 83 points
Hey.
is 83 points. Regardless of how you go about getting them, you still have to go out and get them. The irony of this whole thing
Imagine if he would have missed all the free throws. Man, that would have been even more embarrassing, bro. Them getting 83 points. Him missing the free throws at the end.
is
Imagine.
that I've seen a lot of comments about how this game was proof for some fans that Wilt Chamberlain actually did score 100 back in 1962, despite
Yeah.
there being no video evidence. If Bam can get to 83, Wilt Chamberlain could and definitely did get to 100. Which there's already a laundry list of proof from that game. I don't know why this would be the determining factor. But if Bam's game is being ridiculed and dismissed, even if the criticism is justified, then so should the mythical 100-point scoring record. Because the way that Bam got his points is the exact method Wilt
Yep,
used to get
exactly
his.
what I'm saying.
Like, literally, bar for
They were
bar.
feeding the ball. When they fouled, I don't know if they was
During
fouling,
the
but
final minutes of Heat
they were definitely
Wizards,
just giving him the
Keyshawn
ball.
Johnson intentionally missed a free throw in hopes that the Heat would get the rebound to get it back to Bam. This is exactly what
Yep.
the Warriors did for Wilt. The Heat also intentionally fouled while holding an insurmountable lead to get the ball back faster. The Warriors did the same exact thing to get Wilt to 100. If Bam's 83 points is invalid because of these tactics, then for that same reason, so is Wilt's 100. Not only did the two biggest scoring nights in NBA history deploy the most gimmicky, shameless tactics to pull it off, this is quite possibly the only way to pull it off.
Literally.
The only difference between Bam's 83 and Wilt's 100 is video cameras and an angry mob of critics online. Now, to be completely honest, I was thrilled to finally see a coach allow his player to chase a record and have himself a night that most players could only dream of. You want to know how many games I've watched that were spoiled by an early sub? A player being punished for giving too much belt to the opposing team. A 3-point party cut short because they were playing too good. Potential records shut down because it wouldn't be in good taste. If this is what it takes to make up for all the times I had to watch Steve Kerr pull a player from a game on the verge of a league record, then so be it. I am just as surprised as you that I will now see Bam Adebayo's name above Kobe Bryant's for the rest of my days. But to see Bam have the audacity to stay in this game, emphatically do what no one else would dare, was just as fun as it was shocking. Which, by the way, every single player, without exception, would choose to stay in the game and chase a record if their coach allowed them to. This just happens to be the rare case
Man,
where a
W.
coach-
Eric, man. W. Eric's bullshit, bro. That's crazy, bro. He kept this nigga in the game, bro. Bro, I knew he was going to at least get, like, 70, bro. Because he had 30 in the first freaking quarter, bro. That's insane. But I thought he was going to at least take him out. But when he kept him in I seen he was in the fourth, I was like, yeah, they keeping him in. Because that third quarter, he had 60 something. 62. And then he kept him. I thought he was gonna take it. Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna take him out on the
Did
board.
allow it.
Wow.
How can we blame Bam for doing something every
Crazy.
player would do if given the
Yeah.
chance? I don't
What?
know, maybe instead of putting all the blame on the man who just scored 83 points in an NBA game, we should aim that frustration at the team that allowed
Yeah,
it
the
to
team.
happen. Throughout this game, Bam attempted 43 shots, which is a lot.
It's
But
a lot,
you
but
want
you
to know
gotta
who
get it.
shot more shots in a single game? Kobe. And
Nah, gang. I don't think you understand how crazy that is. 44 shots, 53 points. 44.
Westbrook and DeJounte Murray.
Bro, that's insane. That's on. Bro, wait, hold on. Bam shot 40.
Single
Okay, I
game.
mean, he had more free throws, so
Kobe.
okay, I guess.
And Kobe, and Westbrook, and DeJounte Murray, and Kobe,
Oh,
and Kate
God.
Cunningham, and
Oh, God.
Kobe, Chris
I think Jamal Murray up there
Webber,
got to be up
Kobe,
there, too.
Brunson, Jordan, and Kobe.
Wait, bro, 50 shots. I think that was his last game, though. Yeah, that nigga had 50 shots, though, bro.
What about
Damn.
all those free throws Bam attempted? Those are the symptom of a team desperate to slow a player down, but can't stop him without fouling. It has been decades since the last time a player chased points to this extent, let alone had a coaching staff that allowed him to do it. But as I previously mentioned, this feels like conclusive proof that the only thing keeping that 100-point record intact is sheer respect for the unwritten rules and the opposing team and the game itself. If Bam can go for 83, I can only imagine what players like Luka, Shea, Giannis, and Wemby
Wemby?
could go for if given the opportunity. But now that we're stuck
Remember, you can definitely get 70, bro.
looking at this for the foreseeable future, what are your thoughts on this game? Do you feel like Bam's 83 was legitimate, or did the tactics used
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he already had 70, so I mean, shit, he was already up there. But, I mean, it's not his fault. He kept him in the game. Is what it is.
at
Shit.
the end of this game damage the legacy of this performance and how we'll remember it? I gotta know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments
Only people that's mad is Kobe fans, but thing is, I understand though. It's like, damn, he had 70. He could,
below. And as always, until next time.
and the fucking free throws, man. That shit cute. Oh my goodness. People are mad that he shot that many free throws, bruh. And this is a good video though. Damn. And I watched the other video made about 100. Yeah, right here. It's probably to score 100 points, bro. That's crazy, bro. That was like a couple days ago. He made that video, and then Bam scored 83. But I'm telling you, by Bam doing that, somebody else is gonna be close. Cause like I know it's gonna be one coach that's like, if somebody gets a high hand, bro, they're gonna try to let him get at least 90 or 100, bro. I'm telling you, that'll be video though.